Hello, welcome to this teaching. We offer a complete Catholic teaching. One might ask why you're teaching and why you're Catholic teaching. It is good to get to the bottom of things, to get back to the basics on which everything is based. We live too much on the surface in this turbulent world, without worrying about what it really is, what everything is based on. Our lives are too often outside. We must find the center, the foundation on which everything is built. Because if the foundation is not assured, the rest is in danger. The philosopher goes beyond the superficial. He likes to know what is really going on with things. So why you're teaching and why you're Catholic teaching? We notice in this world some very beautiful things. Already the creation, all this complex and so wonderfully organized nature, with defects, we will see why. And we ourselves were part of it, man, this wonder, that we will have the opportunity to discover more deeply. We also notice very beautiful things in human activity, in every man and in society. All this technological progress, which really makes life easier for us in many fields, and not only facilitates it, but contributes to making it very pleasant for us, with all this comfort and the most sophisticated work, travel, and communication tools, such as radio, television, computer, and mobile. Now we have the world in our pocket, at our fingertips. Quantities of books, newspapers, magazines, film, CDs, DVDs, cultural trips, training of all kinds. We have very beautiful things, but also bad things, as we know, such as this degrading morality, where almost everything becomes permissible, and not only permissible, but also strongly encouraged, to the point of condemning by law those who oppose this immorality. We no longer know where we stand. Everything is also good and bad, and even the good becomes bad, and the bad good. The beautiful is the ugly is the beautiful. Everyone has his truth, which closes all communication. All religions has the same words, and therefore we might as well stay home and pray in our room. And when we are home, we have something else to do. We can say and do anything and everything. No one soon will know whether it is right or wrong, and so everything will be allowed without anyone can say anything, because we no longer have a reference point. We are living in an era of far-reaching, fantastic over-information, in which very beautiful things are being done, but also, as you know, very bad things. We must know how to sort, and discernment is not always easy to do. Sometimes we have a good foundation following a good education, but we often do not suspect. Without a thorough philosophical training, and not of any philosophy, to what extent Western Europe's thought is polluted, intoxicated, and even poisoned today by all kinds of destructive currents of this thought, and consequently of all that follows. All human activity, the thought can be very sick and even dead, and therefore all the rest in man, because all man's activity depends on his thought. It is also said that thought leads the world. We are, as we say at the beginning of our study on the truth, like in a wild garden where all kinds of fruit grow, good and bad, where everyone picks and eats at will, according to their attraction, without worrying often if it is good or bad. And even if we care, as we no longer have a reference point, we are no longer able to know what is good or bad, even in specialized environments. Who could say what he is looking for in all this? We pick according to our attractiveness, hoping that it is good, or at least that it does good, but nothing more. What are we looking for in life? What are we doing on this earth? Why are we on earth? What we are looking for, if we look closely, is to be happy, or at least to not be unhappy. Which is the same thing. When I go to work, for example, it is because I am happy in my work or in my work environment, or at least to earn a living so that I can survive, eat, sleep, under a roof, have a minimum of comfort and means to move and get what I need. Likewise, when I make plans, such as going on holiday, visiting friends, setting up an association, it is to be happy. And even when I do it for others, I derive a joy from doing good to others, and not the least a beautiful joy, a healthy and superior joy, which has nothing to do with selfishness, even at worst. The person who commits suicide seeks negatively to be happy, in a way, by wanting to get rid of this life that he considers to be his greatest misfortune. What do we do on earth? What do we are looking for in the life? The very man seeks to be happy. Every man seeks happiness, something that philosophers have long discovered. But often too, we do not know what happiness is, nor what could make us happy. We seek it in the pleasures of the table, in sexual pleasures, in friendship, love, power, wealth, ambition, activity, but we do not really find it. There are some joys which can be very great and legitimate, but happiness, what can be defined as a fullness of joy, for which there is nothing missing, no one can say that he found it on earth. And even if someone thought he had found it. The very fact of having to die one day takes away from that happiness the essential thing, which is to be fullness. So all our activity on earth, including our thinking, is summed up in a search for happiness. And no one can say that he found it on earth, which means that man, with his only natural means, does not know where it is. We do not know because we have lost man's instruction for use. We do not know what man is and how he works. If we may say, that is his nature and what he is intended for. It is like asking these questions about man. Where does he come from? What is he doing on earth? And where is he going? That is, what is he for? What he does on earth, we know in part. He seeks happiness, but he does not know where he comes from or where he is going. We must find out what man is and what he is made for. This is a nature and instruction for use. And therefore, it is necessary to come back to the manufacturer. The fact is that God has spoken to us to make us better know who we are and what we are destined for. That is true happiness. This is the teaching of the Catholic Church, which lets us know what God has taught us on his subject. We will show it during this complete teaching, and be free already in this first lesson. It will be shown, especially in the third year, that the Catholic religion is the only true religion, that is, the one that truly connects us to God. You know, religion comes from Latin religare, to connect, religare. So, we are looking for happiness, and we don't know where it is. It is therefore a problem of knowing, not only, but a problem of knowing, and that is why its solution is a teaching and a Catholic teaching, because it is the only one that is certified by God, the manufacturer, until we be shown in. 6 reasons are given to show how important knowledge is in human life, to show that it is absolutely essential. Firstly, if knowledge is necessary to reach happiness, our main purpose, it is therefore that it serves as a light for man to know where he is going. Knowledge teaching will make us know where the purpose is, what it is, that it is possible to achieve it, and how to achieve it, for it would be useless to know where the purpose is and what it is if it were impossible to achieve it. Secondly, If we look closely, all that man does depends on his thought. An animal acts by instinct, that is, by its nature, and that is why it always acts in the same way. There is no evolution in the animal over time. For example, with regard to the construction of its dwelling, the swallow always makes its nest in the same way. Man, on the other hand, has the power to judge what he is doing and to make an informed decision. And even when he acts without thinking, letting himself be guided by his instinct, like animals, which happens too often, unfortunately, he decides in a way that he decides nothing and lets himself be guided by his desires. You understand? Everything that man does may and must depend on his judgment and decision. However, his judgment depends on his thinking, on the way in which his thinking was formed. Hence the primacy again of his thought. Thirdly, and thought is a certain life in us, and not the least. We do not live only through the body. We also live in our mind, and the first activity of our mind is thought. It's a certain life in us. No, just as we can live more or less well by our body, so we can live more or less well by our mind. We can be in perfect health, or more or less sick, polluted, intoxicated, poisoned, and even dead. There are two objections to this statement. No, it is not thought the first thing we have to experience in ourselves. It is love. Well, love is a very beautiful thing. The most beautiful thing in the world, certainly, but without knowledge, love is nothing. Because to love, you have to know what you love. You can't love or like what you don't know at all. And so, even if the most beautiful thing in the world is love, knowledge is still first, because without it, love cannot be. Absolutely speaking, it is true. There is a love that precedes knowledge, a natural love. But it is precisely the love of knowledge, the love of truth, that pushes us to know, which still shows the importance of knowledge. It is the only love that precedes knowledge, and is only directed towards knowledge. Since without knowledge, one cannot love or like anything else. Somebody will still say, no, the first thing is life, because without life, it is death. We must therefore first seek to live. What we have heard among revolutionary Christians according after the Concile, done with knowledge, done with teaching. Long live life, let the Spirit flow. But the first life to live is in the mind, because how to live the rest well if you are sick or dead in your mind? And today, we can see the damage that such conceptions have caused in the Church. Fourthly, moreover, happiness is according to being. Only the one who has everything he desires is fully happy. As long as we are missing something, however little it may be, we are not fully happy. No, to be for a living person is to live. And so, if the first and most important life we have to live is in thought, and if the first love we must have is the love of truth, which is nothing other than right thought, the first happiness is in thought, with the love of truth. We will see that more in the following teaching. Fifthly, freedom by which man is created in the image of God is a power to choose. However, the less knowledge there is, the less choice there is. So freedom depends essentially on knowledge and the importance of knowledge. Sixthly, the spiritual life, as we will see, is a love story with God. But love is essentially free. Otherwise, if there is coercion, it is not love. But if love depends on freedom, and the freedom on knowledge, we see the importance of knowledge in the spiritual life. We also see it in what we cannot love without knowing, as we have said. Hence, with these 6 reasons, the extreme importance of the formation of thought, of knowledge, which is done through teaching. However, knowledge can be, as we know, more or less well-formed, healthy or polluted, poisoned, and it is a fact today that Western Europe thought is poisoned. For those who have studied philosophy in depth, through philosophy, it is clear that current thinking is rich to the core. To take an image, we have no idea how so far this has gone. But if the thought is polluted, poisoned, according to our 6 points from earlier, first, we have little or no light, and therefore we risk in darkness to hurt ourselves very much by going in the wrong direction. For example, by eating foods that can make us very sick and kill us. 2. If everything depends on thought, if thought is defective, everything is defective in man, in his life. Everything is wrong, goes wrong. 3. If thought is life, and the most important life in man, if thought is corrupt, man is sick or even dead in the most important part of his being. 4. And man is not happy in this way, obviously, if he does not have this life in himself. That could make him happy. He can even be very unhappy, and to deceive in him this frustration of perfect happiness, he falls back on inferior joys, which can be very good, but which are nothing compared to the one for which he is made infinite happiness. 5. Less knowledge, less choice, less freedom. 6. Less knowledge, less freedom, less love, spiritual life method, and therefore purpose, happiness. And what has just been said about man in general also applies to an entire society, since a society is made up of particular men, obviously. And the importance not only of forming knowledge, but also, and first and foremost, of purifying it. During this teaching, we will see diseases of thought, both at the philosophical level, such as idealism, agnosticism, nominalism, and at the theological level, such as what we call heresies. Generally speaking, thought is polluted by error and healthy by truth, because truth, as we said, is correct thought, the best reflection of reality. And truth cleanses thoughts polluted by error. And so we must find the truth. And this is done through teaching, the good teaching, if possible the best. And this is the one that comes from God, through the Church, as we will show. Teaching, however, does not do everything, because one can clearly see the truth and not love it and refuse it because one prefers something else. In general, personal interest. But if truth does not do everything, it is absolutely vital and first in man, and it is unnatural to put it in second place. So thought is quite primordial in man, and it is truth that cleanses polluted, poisoned thought, purifies it, and communicates life and light to it. There are two kinds of truth that can be known by man. One, first, natural truth, to which we can access by our own means of knowledge. That is the domain of man. And secondly, supernatural truth, to which we cannot access by ourselves, but which is revealed by God, what is called for this reason revelation. It is a domain of the Church. The natural truth, therefore, is the one that we can know with our natural reason from experience. Experience is all that we have the opportunity to know on this earth. All that is presented to our faculties of knowledge is the truth accessible to man alone. The reason is the intelligence that reason, that seeks the truth. We will see all that. It is necessary to recall this, that any man can access a certain domain of truth by himself. What is called natural truth without God revealing it to him, because God has given the man the means to do so. Some Christians, in fact, say that we cannot know anything certain on this earth, since it is possible to be in error. And if we will know everything up in the heaven, there is no need to tire of searching for a truth that we will know much better up there. What they do not understand, unfortunately, is that we only access the plenary truth in heaven through the truth of this world. Indeed, natural truth, with few exceptions, is like the footstool of supernatural truth, without which one cannot access this supernatural truth. So not only is it possible to know the truth in this world, but it is also absolutely necessary. Only, of course, this knowledge has its limits because, as everyone knows, we are limited in this field and cannot know everything we want to know. And moreover, we are prone to error. But we can know a good number of truths by ourselves, a considerable number, and many with total evidence, and therefore complete certainty. For example, the fact that we are present here where we are is a very certain truth. It is true that other truths are less obvious. It is true that other truths are less obvious. There are degrees in the evidence, and therefore also in the certainty of possessing the truth. There are total evidences and partial evidences. But just because the truth is not always completely obvious does not mean it never is. The fact that we cannot know it as we want does not mean that we can never know it, what the agnostics claim. The truth can therefore be known naturally and with great certainty, but not always.